Guys, Asher coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Welcome to the video, guys. I'm glad to have you here talking about Ignatius, the often forgotten Ogren tribe, a magic affinity, defense-based burner in the game. I say often forgotten because I, the big yellow bumblebee here. What do you guys think of this hoodie? I feel like it's a little yellow, a little bright. I don't know. Anyway, you can't miss me. You can't miss me. Ignatius. We have a lot of requests for Ignatius. I'll go through and shout out a few of you guys. Minecraft Thunder 9336 has a Taurus YouTube avatar. We're also looking at JWB, Lightsworn. I haven't done Lightsworn as well. Noob for Life. Calvalax is one of the few champions that this dirty whale does not have. So TBD on that. Just Doka, Blue Buddha. We have Hunter Dragon and everybody else. Thank you so much for all of the Rio Bone Spear fan too. Have we done her? We haven't done her. I have to look him up every day now. Anyway, guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at Ignatius. All right, so yeah, I feel like I always just almost forget about this champion. He's one of my, I pulled him fairly early on in the account. He has like a similar model, I think, Ignatius and Biggin, right? Don't they look like almost identical? Biggin and Ignatius. I mean, that's very similar, especially for legendaries. Either way, he is just like Biggin. He's magic affinity as well. And he does have a couple AoEs, just like Biggin as well. He has 3 potentially. Anyway, his base stats, he's a pretty slow champion at 93 speed. That's definitely the biggest knock on this guy. Everything else is great. He has a 19k HP and a 1266 on the defense. He also brings a defensive aura in all battles by 25%, which is a solid aura, especially being all battles. Attack one enemy has a stun chance, 25% chance on the A1. So already coming to the table with some control, and it only gets better with the A2. An AoE provoke on a 4-turn cooldown. The downside is it's a 4-turn cooldown and it's only a 75% land rate. So what do we make of this ability, right? It's better to have than not to have, right? It's great against wave content out there. Not so great against like a Hydra provoker, but he could be a solid secondary provoker in a situation like Hydra. It's just nice control to have in his kit, right? So he has to provoke. And then turn to Ash. I don't know, something about the name of this ability, it just really resonates with me. Turn to Ash in AoE 100%. Where he really needs the 100%, he's got it where it counts. Of placing an HP burn for 2 turns. And the most important sentence in this entire champion's kit is this debuff cannot be resisted. This makes him one of the only 2 or 3. Walking Tomb Dragon comes to mind as the only other unresistible AoE burner in the game. I think it's Walking Tomb Dragon and Ignatius. Now, unfortunately, Walking Tomb Dragon, I'd be lying to you guys if I didn't say that he did, in a small way, power creep Ignatius. Walking Tomb Dragon is a healer and a burner. His burn's on a 3-turn cooldown. Whereas Ignatius, he's like a nuker and a burner and a provoker, right? The only downside, again, is the long cooldown of 5 turns when booked, 6 turns without. But, you know, overall, I really like this champion. I think you guys will too. If you just pulled him and you're watching this video, I don't think you're going to, even as an old school champion in the game, a legacy, one of the originals in the game, I think he's still got it. In a lot of ways, just going back to the comparison one more time, in a lot of ways, he's kind of like a Biggin in terms of his overall power scope in the game, right? He used to be the best nuker up there with Ray as one of the best nukers in the game. And he's taken a little bit of hit over the years, but he's still an unbelievably good champion, right? So you can still be an A-tier champ, B+, A- in that range, in my opinion. Maybe a 4 out of 5 on Ignatius. And be power creep, but still be incredibly good in the game. And that's how I feel he is. So what I want to do in today's video is I want to show you the build that we're going to start with. But first, I want to go to hellhades.com. They actually give him a 4-star out of 5. So they agree with my ranking there. I want to look at his multipliers, and I want to look at where he's ranked high to use, right? Spider, a 5 out of 5. Now, again, on Spider, the downside is certainly the cooldown on the burn, but he's got the burn, right? 5 out of 5 in regular, a 4 out of 5 in Dragon, a 4 out of 5 in Ice Golem, hard and normal. We get a 5 out of 5 Frost Spider. Honestly, the area where I think he shines the most in the entire game is Frost Spider, personally. Eternal Dragon, 5 out of 5. Magma, 4. Nether Spider, 4. Arena, 4.5. This dude can smack in the arena, too. He's definitely a slept-on go second nuker or even go first nuker because of 2 strong AoEs. He does have a 3.8 single target multiplier on his A1. That's hard hitting. He has a 4.9 on his A2 and a 5.6 multiplier. You don't run into many defensive multipliers that are higher, this high, excuse me, at 5.6 on his A3 ability. So he can smack. I will say, though, that those crazy multipliers are a little tiny bit mitigated, nothing crazy, by the fact that his base defense isn't sky high compared to other defensive-based legendaries out there. So it doesn't scale as well. So like a Valkyrie, for example, having a 3 multiplier on her AoE versus some of these numbers, they can end up hitting close to the same because she has 1600 base defense. All that being said, though, he hits like a truck, okay? I wanted to start out with just kind of an overall general build on this dude, right? And then I want to put him into nuking gear. So there's really 3 builds, maybe 4 builds I want to recommend. A lot of builds for you guys. So number 1 is just a general perception build with a little bit of crit rate, crit damage built in there, right? This is just a good wave clear, do some damage build, kind of an all-around build. He'll be effective in Spider, he'll be effective in Frost Spider, right? The nice thing is we do not need resist for Frost Spider to land the HP burn. It's really important for Spider in general. We don't need, for any burn content, we don't need the resist. We don't need the accuracy, excuse me. Did I say resist? We don't need accuracy because it can't be resisted, right? Bad news is we do need accuracy to land the provoke and the stun, right? So it is important to still build this champion with some accuracy. I would prioritize accuracy for general PvE content even over crit rate and crit damage. It's that important, I personally think, again, for PvE, to land those provokes and the stuns as well, to take advantage of the excellent control that he brings to the table. That all being said, if you're using him in the arena or something like that, you could just go all out crit rate, crit damage, and still try to stack on some accuracy as well. But I would maybe prioritize getting a 100% crit rate if you're going to use him as a nuker. So anyway, without further ado, this build, we have defense on the banner. Accuracy on the banner is totally cool as well. We have crit damage on the amulet. We have defense on the ring. Obviously prioritizing the defensive stat, but we don't want to totally neglect his HP either. We have crit damage on the gauntlets. We have defense on the chest. We have speed on the boots. Other ways to build him. You could just throw defense percentage or HP percentage on the gauntlets too, and forget about the AoE damage. You're leaving a lot of damage off the table though, so I personally would not advise it. But you could build him tanky as a burner and a control champion, like a control provoke tank, right? Different sets, regeneration and immortal, or just regeneration. He can solo Frost Spider, even Sorath, on even the most difficult levels in the game, provided that he can keep himself alive. So you have to build him very tanky with a lot of HP, even though he's a defense-based champion, and regeneration and or immortal, preferably both, right? So that's a way for him to solo Frost Spider or duo Frost Spider if you want to use a Lydia to make things faster, or you want to use a nuker to get through the waves, even trio. I think we'll trio Frost Spider, the final floor on Doom Tower hard today in the video. Other builds, you could go with stun. Just make him an all-out control monster. A chance to stun on the A3, chance of stunning on the A2. A stun set as a build I would take advantage of in really challenging Cursed City content, right? I haven't run into a floor that I need a Ignatius in Cursed City yet, but if I did, a real challenging one in Soul Cross, I would consider a stun set on him, okay? Even though he's already provoking too, because stun sets are the way to go for the most difficult content in the game, wave content. The last build would be Savage or Lethal. All-out arena nukage, right? And I do want to switch him into a Savage or Lethal before we end the video. I just have a very general, basic loadout here on Masteries. War Master, accuracy masteries. I will show you right now. Couldn't really get much more basic than this, guys, right? This is like quintessential damage dealer and debuffer build, right? One note here is I do have Lore of Steel on him. Lore of Steel is not bad, but if I had like regen, or for example, I probably wouldn't go with Lore of Steel, but with 3 basic sets, it's incredibly powerful, right? So total stats on our Ignatius today are going to be 50K on the dot, 4,000 almost on the dot on defense, 245 on the speed. You don't have to have him this fast, but it's nice. 91, 196, right? So kind of a hybrid, 280 plus the masteries on accuracy, a little low there, but at least will always land the burn. So I want to go ahead and start out in Doom Tower, guys, and I want to go right to the tippity top of Doom Tower hard. Hey, we're going to use him as the nuker, and since we don't have regen and immortal on him, we're going to go ahead and run him with a healer, right? Because you know, it doesn't take a ton. It doesn't take the best healer in the game or anything like that, even though I do have one of the top healers in Wither the Crowned. But you just need someone who's going to come in there and ideally heal and cleanse him throughout the battle. That way he obviously stays alive. I use like Walking Tomb Dragon, for example, without a healer, right? Because he's in regen and immortal. I switched from Ignatius to Walking Tomb Dragon because of the shorter cooldowns and the instant activation that Walking Tomb Dragon has on his A1. But Ignatius is certainly, in my opinion, like the second best Frost Spider champion in the game, right? And he's pretty dang close. Anyway, the cool thing about Ignatius is if he's not frozen the entire battle, he does a much better job than Walking Tomb Dragon helping to clear these waves himself, but he's been frozen, perma-frozen right now so far. So I'll come back to you guys when we actually get to the Frost Spider. Be right back. All right, guys, here we go at the Frost Spider. So we are dealing with some freeze right now. We're dealing with everything, with every debuff known to man, but we're going to be A-okay here. So what's the name of the game? The name of the game is we've got a burn. We've got an irresistible HP burn. We're going to go ahead and, as you can see, apply that to the Frost Spider and wait for the Frost Spider to die. Now, if the Frost Spider dies while not under a burn, it comes back to life with 50% HP. Normally, if you don't have a Lydia on your squad, you're going to need a block revival champion, or you're just going to need to ensure that the burn is on the Frost Spider when you kill it, right? But with this squad, we've got a Lydia, right? So she's just going to deny the revival, and you never have to worry about that ever again. That being said, burn is still the most effective way to kill the Frost Spider, and you can see Ignatius is super tanky. He's tanky enough to stand alone on his own 2 feet here without having a support, but provided he's in the right gear. Either way, even without the right gear, slide in a healer or 2, you know, some more support on the team, and you're going to be looking really good with an Ignatius. So at the very least, if you're struggling at all, or just looking to further optimize your strategy. And when I say optimize too, part of this game, the more content they release in this game, it's about optimizing doesn't always mean running things faster. Optimizing sometimes means if you're running a team that has 5 champions specifically geared for one dungeon, that's kind of a burden on your account, especially if you want to change those builds. It's going to cost you a lot of silver. The nice thing about a solo champion is why I use Euros to Soul Cage in so many areas of the game, is because it frees up those other champions for you to rebuild them for other content in the game, not have to mule the gear around or feel restricted in any way. Anyway, we're almost done with the battle, but I'll come back at the end here. Be right back. All right, guys, it looks like we might luck out here. We might luck out here. 1 turn on the burn and the boss goes down. Ignatius just putting in 25 million damage, no big deal on a day's work for the big fella. All right, guys, let's go ahead and let's just slide on. Do I want to rebuild him for this? I don't know. Some of you guys might be curious, right? Hopefully 2 of you are still watching this late into the video. Let's go ahead and first off, we didn't even talk about Blessing. I had Brimstone on him. You saw how effective it was. Love Brimstone. You do need accuracy unless you're lucky enough to have a 6-star Brimstone. But we're going to put him into the old Soul Reap for the arena, right? Going to give him a Soul Reap. And then we're going to come in here and we're actually going to keep the defense, keep the crit damage, keep the defense. So that's good. I'd like to probably keep, these speed gear is actually pretty good. We're going to have to remove the perception gear, right? I'm just going to do this with you guys because what do you care? The 2 viewers still watching right now, we're just going to chill for a little bit. What do you want me to say? How's your day going anyway? Mine is, honestly, just sat through a 5.5 hour work meeting. Yeah, that was a lot. That's how my day is going right now. Hence the 10 o'clock upload or later right now, Eastern time. Anyway, I digress. That's how my day's been going. Hopefully yours has been a little bit more entertaining at least. Oh, look at this. I have no good gear available. My Savage gear, man. My Savage helmets. I'm always looking for good Savage helmets. I can never find them, right? Let's go to equipped. Let's go to priority stats, crit rate high, and let's take out let's just start filling it in, right? Speed with some crit rate. You guys can see it now, right? Check that out. That's a good, I mean, the attack percentage is not good, but we're not going to mess with it because probably have it on attack-based champion at some point, right? Chest piece, this is perfect. This is built for him. Defense percentage with the crit rate, right? Let's max that out. There's actually a fragment some of the time of this recording right now, so I need the points anyway. So I don't mind maxing out rare 5-star gear. Okay, where else do we want to go here? We need a helmet. We need that helmet. Let's go in here and do helmet gauntlets. It's going to be littered with crit rate gauntlets, right? Okay, what do we have for helmet here? Okay, we can jive with this. This is the one that I just looked at, literally. But we can jive with that. We're already at 100% crit rate thanks to those boots, so that's good. So now all we need is random crit damage gauntlets on this dude. And I found the perfect pair. Look at that, speed 17. That's beautiful. All right, so there we go, guys. That wasn't too bad, right? Now, ideally, we'd put him in like Savage plus Cruel. Actually, no, my bad. Savage plus crit damage. We don't want Cruel on a non-attack-based champion. I'd rather go with crit damage. So we're leaving some damage off the table, certainly. But you know what I'm going to do for you guys? The one person now still watching? I am going to do this. I actually noticed that I have a few copies of him. So let's go ahead and empower. First, I need to see Faction Guardians. What do I have? I have 2 Ignatius. Do I have anybody else? Okay, we can empower one time. How about that? Empower Ignatius. I actually tried not to empower champions since I started this channel, guys, because I know from the comments that people get very mad when I share empowered or like, you know, 6-star awakenings or any of that stuff, because it becomes a little bit less obtainable. My whole thought process and the way I used to consume, like when I was a new player or before I whaled out in this game, is like I used to just try to find inspiration in the build or whatever. But also there's some credence to the idea that that you don't want the builds to be so ridiculously endgame that they just don't. It's just impossible. And like, what's the use, right? Anyway, speaking of endgame, let's go with a. Let's go with the typical team that we've been using lately. Do I even have it assembled anymore? It looks like I don't even have it assembled. I have like the perfect arena showcase team all set and ready to go. But then I was recording a sneak peek at tomorrow's YouTube video on this team right now. But let's go ahead and put let's put Crixia, Ignatius, and who the heck else do I don't think I even need anybody else on this squad. Actually, you know what I do need, and I'm glad for the one person still watching right now. This is important. But Ignatius, a defense-based champion. What do we want? What's the most important buff for this champion in the whole game? Say it with me. Increase defense. Increase defense. So I guess Siffy would be the obvious choice, right? Like I said, I don't want to use empowered champions, so I'm using a +4 Siffy. Yay. All right. Just want to make sure she's fast enough. Here we go. So let's see what kind of damage this dude can do. It's not about the team around him. They're just there so we can ensure that we go first and we have all the buffs optimized. But hey, we need her to go. We need Siffy to go before she's in the Valorous. It's okay. We'll do it this way. All right. So let's try the A3 out first, guys. Take a look at the opposing squad here. Not bad. What do you guys think of that damage? Honestly, not insane, but not bad either. Let's hand it back to him for his other AoE. This is A2. Hit harder because he is under increased crit damage buff. But, I mean, overall, definitely not disappointed with that damage at all, right? Let's go ahead and Night Purge and wait for the... I can't believe they put their Dark Kale in the 2-piece stone skin. Shame, shame. Nothing against it. It's just not what you normally see in a Dark Kale. There we go. All right, let's test out his A1 for the death shot here. Right now. No, right now. Boom. There we go. All right, let's see one more battle here before I let you guys. Oh, let's go against his brother. What do you say? Biggin versus Ignatius. Here we go. All right, everything's on the line. All right, so what I want to do here is I want to give him first crack without increased defense here. So let's go with the A3 again. Now, I'm going with the A3 because it has a larger multiplier just to do a damage check. But if you're going to use him in the arena, I'd actually go with the A2 instead of the A3 as my opening move because you ideally like to provoke everybody, right? Provoke is definitely a stronger play, even with a little bit less damage, certainly than a HP burn in the arena. The cool thing about Ignatius, though, is of course I'm showing him here just for a damage check on a go first team, but on a go second team, he's a great option too, right? You can control. Obviously, he's super tanky, so he can fit in a bunch of different kind of variations. But I always think that even on defense base, not always, but oftentimes, just like, yeah, if we can go first, I'd like to, right? Especially when farming your Great Hall, right? Like, if you're not vying for platinum, like, I'll take the L's. I just want to try to go first. That's why you should always put your speed booster in the arena in all of your best speed gear. I'm saying this for new players. I know some of you guys are like, dude, super obvious, man. You always want to put your speed booster in the arena if you're focusing on the arena in the best speed gear in every piece on your entire account, you know? Obviously, when you get to the end game, things can change and stuff like that and whatever. But like for the majority of players, you just want your Arbiter, if you're using Arbiter, for example, you just want her in your absolute best, right? Even if it means flat stat, you know? Sacrifice every other stat. We just want her to go first because everything else becomes so much easier. All right, guys. That's going to do it for the video. You can see that he smacks, right, for a defense-based nuker. You know, not too bad. He's not going to be an endgame nuker for you in the arena or anything like that. But hey, as we spoke about, when it comes down to just farming your Great Hall, this dude's got it going on too. He can definitely help you out. And he's nice and tanky. You can put him like a Vogoth, a Seeker or something on a defense-based team. You can have success. Just, you know, the risk is building a go second team nowadays is like, why are you building a go second team? It's just going to take you a lot longer. That's why I love the need for speed, even with Ignatius. Anyway, that's my personal preference, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed this guide. Thank you for watching all the way till the end. The one of you who's still left, I appreciate it. Much love. And as always, take care.